about the players that were injured, how they doing?
Yeah, great question. How are the guys that were injured? Kenny Gaines, whose injury was much more significant than we realized, he sprained a foot right before the last regular season game at Auburn, and we didn't play him in that game. We were able to win. A week later, we tried to play him in the SEC tournament. We beat South Carolina, but he wasn't very effective, and then we sat him down, and we tried to bring him back to the NCAA tournament, and he just wasn't himself. Kenny was then put in a cast. He just got his cast off about 2 weeks ago. He's in a walking boot now. He's still not allowed to walk in a regular shoe. They put him in a boot so he can take it off and get into a pool and do some rehab. We think he'll be back about mid-June and be 100% recovered. Juwan Parker, who was our starting small forward, tore his Achilles tendon. And this is a great story about how kids really appreciate and love the school that they play for. We knew Juwan had a torn Achilles tendon in the first week of January, and we knew he had to have surgery. And so we called his dad and said, we got to schedule the surgery, and his father said, Juwan and I have already talked about this. He said, if he can help you in one game, one time, to get us in the NCAA tournament, we're going to push this surgery back till after the season. And that may delay his recovery, but he might be able to help your team. And when Kenny Gaines got hurt, we were riding on the bus over to Auburn, and I went back next to Juwan, and I said, you think you got one in you? And he said, I can try. And he gave us about 15 minutes. And
Gave you 6 points, I think 9 rebounds.
6 points, a bunch of rebounds, and helped us win the game, and really fought through, a terrible injury. But he's also, I think, going to be back about the second week of June. So those guys are getting better. Kenny Palagino's broken wrist is healed. J.J. Frazier had a broken face and a broken hand, and those are both healed up. So we're getting healthy, and hopefully by about the middle of June we'll be 100%.
Well, I had a quick gentleman wanted to know too about Osahan and Dewey last year, and you mentioned Malera. He had a setback early.
Yeah, Osahan was so sick when school started. We thought we were going to lose him. I mean, he was so ill, and he missed the entire fall, and he was so far behind when we started, and so he really never got a chance to catch up. And probably should have redshirted Osahan, but with all the injuries, he helped us win a couple games, and so he really had an impact. But he didn't develop really like we hoped because he missed so much time early. But he's had a very good spring. He told me today he was 244 pounds, which is 14 pounds heavier than he weighed last year, and there's not an ounce of fat on the guy. So he's really excited about next year and this summer to have a chance to be healthy and work hard.